President Obama's brother Obongo has been accused of running a charity scam. The Barack H. Obama Foundation claims to be a nonprofit that collects tax-deductible donations. Reports say that's just not true. The charity has never been properly registered while claiming to have a budget of $250,000 a year. I did what we do here at Follow the Money. We followed the money and got Obongo on the phone from his home in Kenya. Take a listen to this interview and decide for yourself whether he's a do-gooder or a con artist.
If there's any money, that we're raising or I'm raising, that I'm misusing or misappropriating, then fine, call me up on it. But there's nothing. Americans have not been, contributing to the foundation. They have not been. Now, maybe we are having issues because of the resources that we lack. Filing for tax exemption, you should check that form from 1023 or 1023. It's not an easy form to do. Some people are saying, oh, you can do it in 16 minutes or something like that. It's not something you can just do, that simply, because you have to, make correct, what's the word? But you have not to misrepresent, the application, and so that is the thing. You have a look at that form and see. It is not easy, and we haven't had the type of personnel or somebody who's qualified who can assist us, and not even that, we don't have the resources. We have nothing.
The question I have is that why do you call it the Barack H. Obama Foundation?
Because my father is called Barack H. Obama. That's my father's name.
No, I understand that. I understand it's his name.
How can you ask me such a question?
Well, I mean,
that's my father's name.
Because there are a lot of people who would say you're using it because it's your brother's name, the President of the United States, not necessarily because it's your father's name. I understand it's the same name.
And even if I wanted to do so what? What is the crime in that?
Well,
if I can use it for the good or to help others, what's wrong with that? What are you doing to help humanity? Any money, we're not taking money from anybody. And let me ask you yourself, did you make any contribution to the foundation?
To your foundation?
Yes.
No, I have not.
Then what's your problem? Okay, we're having difficulties. We have always difficulties. It's not like we're trying to defraud anybody or this or we're fake. It is an idea. It's a good idea. What I'm trying to do is just do things or make my contribution to humanity in memory of my dad. Because maybe, sir, it may. And now it's almost like it's being vindicated because, of his son. So only God knows why Barack is the President of the United States. And when I knew him or when I know, he was not vying for presidency or anything like that. He was just a simple kid from the block, in the block. And all of a sudden, something happened, and he became the President of the United States. And just look, he got Osama. Why don't you give him some credit?
He killed Osama. Give him some credit. Let's bring it out to our special Obama panel. Fox News contributor Juan Williams, attorney Ken Bezzoso, and NLPC chairman Ken Boehm, who just filed another complaint against the Barack H. Obama Foundation in Virginia for soliciting charitable contributions without an active registration. Mr. Boehm, I'm going to start with you first. What's your complaint?
Complaint is about as simple as a complaint can be. Virginia law, like every other state, says you can't solicit contributions unless you're registered and you're filing information with the state of Virginia. They did not do that, much the same as they didn't file with the IRS. So it's a textbook example of an off-the-books fake charity.
So you're saying he's a con artist. He's conning the people who are donating. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's telling them they get a tax deduction. He's telling them they're registered with the IRS, and both of those are flatly false.
All right, hang in there, sir. Hang in there, sir. I hate to cut you off, but let me go to Mr. Bezzoso. He told us he did, in fact, file in Virginia, but he has yet to file the IRS papers.
Well, and again, subject to facts, because we don't have the full story, you're looking at a situation where he had the 27 months. He could file those papers within 27 months. And if he doesn't file within 27 months, then really all he is, all that organization is a regular taxable organization, just like Ford Motor Company.
So would that be fraud?
Fraud's a strong word. It depends. I mean, if he collected a couple of $1,000s, you know, it might be deemed insignificant.
Now, before I let you go on to Juan, he said something like $18,000 was raised in his charity from 2008, but he also said he thought there was a $25,000 threshold. Is he right or wrong?
No, there's no $25,000 threshold. There is no de minimis exception. There's no threshold. You either
starts at zero.
Starts at zero.
Right.
You either.
Before I lose you guys, Juan, I want to go to you because after we aired this, without hearing his words, we threw it to you and you said you thought it sounded like corruption. But hearing it now and understanding where he's coming from, what do you think now, Juan?
You know, I think he's just trying to scratch out something, and it sounded a little bit pathetic. You know, he said he didn't understand why his brother became president of the United States. He didn't ask to be his brother didn't ask to be his brother. It sounded like a small-time guy. Previously, in reading about this, Eric, I read where some students from the Missouri State University had gone there, and one of the professors was actually a Nobel Peace Prize winner who came away with a very negative impression and said it sounded to him like the guy was a scoundrel and corrupt, you know, like. But listening to him, it just sounded like a real small-time guy.
Hey, listen,
he
I
said
gotta tell you, Juan,
$18,000, and he said he raised it was his money and his friends. It
it
didn't sound like he'd really raised money.
It was a compelling 38 minutes. I got to tell you, he had me. He had me. He's a very good talker.
Yeah.
We're going to look into this a little bit more in just a couple of minutes with this same panel. We'll be
Credit,
right back.
hey, Eric, I just wanted to say this is exactly what Follow the Money should be doing, and hats off to you for being a
Thank
good
you, Juan.
reporter about it.
We're going to take another look at this after the break. Thank you. Welcome back to Follow the Money. I spoke to President Obama's brother several times over 2 days. He admitted difficulties running his charity, but also opened up about his relationship with his younger brother, the President of the United States. Take a listen.
I didn't ask to be his brother. He didn't ask to be my brother. You know, it was an act of God. Now, like I say, we're having difficulties because the foundation lacks the resources. There has not been the support that we thought there would be. If there was support and we had some contributions, we would have filed and done all those things that we're supposed to. In fact, we have been trying to file for the longest time. If you want, I can send you, maybe the emails and so forth, where we have been making, efforts to get our foundation, registered and everything, we satisfy all the requirements.
All right.
But there's no money. Check my account, or our account, there's only $40 in there.
Okay. All right. Listen.
And the only contributions that we've been getting are personal contributions. If you ever look, 2008, with the total receipts were only $18,000, and most of it was from Ray, myself, and his friend. So, Eric, do me a favor. I think, okay, I don't mean to be getting off on you or anything like that. It gets on my nerves, because all these people say, just imagine if it was your dad, and people are trashing him like that. Or if it was your brother, and people are trashing, and I'm the oldest in the family. I'm the one who I take responsibility for everything.
Right, but I think, sir, I think
really understand it.
I think people really would like to see it handled properly with the proper documentation, number one, and the clarity on the name. I think those are the two issues. That the name of the foundation is in fact.
Check my website.
I shall. Do me a favor.
Everything is clear. I said that it is in memory of my dad.
Right.
And I also said that it's not dependent on the endorsement of my brother.
All right, let's bring it out to the whole panel. Everybody plays. Let me bring it out to you, David. Should the president get out in front of this? And
If nothing else, and I don't want to impeach him or convict him, I would get out in front of it and get him some help. Look, let's just say on the other side that he's legitimate and he's just in over his head. Then, if I were the president, I'd get him some help, get him an attorney pro bono, get it done right. But my question is the red flags about this. The 1023 form, I've been through this process. I'm actually going through this process. Not that difficult.
Well, hey, David, 30 pages. I pulled it up. I downloaded it. It's a long form. A lot of questions. But go ahead, Bernard.
I totally disagree with you, David. If I were the president or his staff, I would stay as far away from this as possible. We Democrats have a 50-year history of being embarrassed by our brothers, particularly our half-brothers. Don't forget
That's
Roger Clinton,
yeah.
Billy
Roger,
Carter. You've
Billy,
got to go
yeah.
back to JFK and his brother RFK.
So what do you
to
do?
sort of
I'm
see
asking.
a brother
Yes,
that
there's a
actually
history,
really
but you
held
get
up.
out in front.
No, you didn't say anything.
You
The
leave it
guy's
alone.
got a job to do. He's running the country. He doesn't need to
What do
get
you do,
involved with
Kim?
his half-brother in
Thinks
Kenya.
you should disassociate. Well, somebody should help and clean it up because it's a mess. Maybe it's fraud, mini fraud, whatever you want to call it. He's breaking the law and he needs to get it together. And if he's continuing to do so, he should be prosecuted.
Dr. Heldman, what do you think of this? Should the president call up his brother and say, hey, enough is enough? Stop taking Bolling's phone calls, for one.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Mr. McSexis, I would absolutely not take any more of your phone calls because I think you did a really good investigative job here. I would hope that the president would help him. I mean, the brothers do embarrass us, right? This is another Roger Clinton situation. He is breaking the law, and I think it's somewhat ironic. It sounded like he was complaining that not enough people were contributing to the charity. Someone needs to help this man.
All right. By the way, you know, I say that in all good humor, and obviously you're a good friend of mine. I hope if I offend you, I won't say it. In fact, I won't say it anymore. What about it, Ken?
I love calling you a sexist, Eric.
Thank you very much. Ken, what about, can you help this man?
Well, the basic thing here is
sorry,
there's close-
Mr. Boehm, I didn't even know we had you there. Hold on a second. I want to talk to Mr. Bezzosa. Can you help him?
Anybody can, any attorney who has any basic training in the tax field could help him. It's not hard. This is a 1023 is
And
basic.
very quickly, Mr. Boehm, very quickly, if he fixes this issue, will you drop the lawsuit?
Well, we don't have a lawsuit. We have a complaint of 3
We
years
dropped
of
the complaint.
activity. We'll let this. No, the complaint stands because for 3 years he was violating the law.
That's Ken Boehm. That's Ken Bezzosa right here. That's Bernard Whitman. That's Kim Guilfoyle. And that's David Webb. Great show, everybody. Fantastic show.
Good job, Eric.
And Dr. Carolyn Heldman, please, I love you. You're a great guest. We appreciate your time, Doc. Have a great weekend, everybody.